Hello, and welcome to this episode of Puck Drop.
You're holding a remote, Ryan. You're holding a remote as a mic.
I know, it's my new microphone that I'm not going to use because I would be...
You don't have to pretend to use a mic. We're all cool.
You're right. Go ahead, Jacob. Take the mic.
That's a remote. That's not a mic.
Take the remote then.
All right. So in this episode, we are going to talk about the commissioner's statement about the return to play plan that he laid out last Tuesday, was it? Yeah, last Tuesday. All right, so let's start off with the draft lottery.
Oh, boy.
The first draft lottery will take place June 26th. That is not a question. That is absolutely confirmed, no matter what, unless the earth blows up. The draft lottery will take place June 26th. The first draft lottery.
Now, Jacob, before we start talking about our opinions about this, why don't you explain it?
Basically, this is how the draft lottery is going to work. There will the lottery will be between the 7 teams that did not make the playoffs. Then there will be slots A through H. The 8 teams that represent the 8 teams that lose the play-in round of the playoffs. Now, if one of those 8 teams, slots A through H, wins a top 3 pick, there will be a second lottery after the play-in rounds in August, where that will decide which of those 8 teams actually gets that pick. So, do you know what this means? If the Penguins lose in the play-in round, they could get the first overall pick.
Which is stupid.
That means they would get Alexis Lafreniere.
They could.
The Penguins had a decent season. I think
they had a really good year.
We'll talk about it later, but the playoff system seems fine to me. But this system is just absolute chaos because you gotta have the teams that are out of the picture completely. They gotta be guaranteed to have those top picks because they're so far out of the picture that they're not even in the play-in round.
You're right.
You gotta have them having the top picks.
Whoa! Hold the roof. Listen, I think you guys all need to listen to this one thing I have to say. Each team played 69 games, not 82, 69.
Well, no, some teams played 70, some teams played 71.
Fine. Around 70 games. That's 12 missing games. So how do you really know which team deserves which draft pick?
Because were the Devils going to be in the playoffs?
Yeah, and also
were they going to be over Hockey 500? Probably.
Maybe.
Probably not.
But actually, they probably were.
We don't know that.
If they would have kept playing how they did at the end of the season, I think they probably would have. But I mean, also, it doesn't matter now because the regular season is over. And
yes, but what I'm saying is that the draft lottery is going to be bogus. The draft itself is going to be bogus because we don't know where every team is going to end up once they hit game 82 and finish game 82. We don't know where.
But the point is that they can't play, so the regular season is over. They played their games. It's over. And based on where they stand,
the draft is not going to work.
Yeah, but they're doing it by points percentage, not standing.
Yeah, exactly.
I still don't like the idea of the draft right now.
The Devils were terrible, Ryan. You have to accept that. I think you got to accept that. And also,
I'm not because they were almost Hockey 500.
That doesn't mean they're good. Hockey 500 is still bad.
It's average, Jordan.
It's bad.
It's still bad. Okay.
Oh my God.
Right. Would you consider the Montreal Canadiens a good team this year?
I'd say that if Carey Price is rested and he can carry the team, yes.
No. When you say this season, in the regular season, were they a good team?
Well, I mean, not really, but they're in the top 24. They have a playoff spot.
What I'm saying, you said they were not really a good team, but they were Hockey 500.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're automatically a good team.
Jacob, they are in the playoffs.
Yeah, because
they
mathematically would have had a chance to make the playoffs.
No. Every team would except for the Red Wings, but who were eliminated before the deadline, which is actually hilarious.
That's terrible.
Like I said a couple episodes ago, no matter what happens, something is going to be unfair. The Devils not being able to finish their season to see if we deserve a draft.
Oh my God! You thought we would have made the playoffs, Ryan? Oh my God, Ryan! Oh my God! That's just.
No, he's not saying he thinks we would have made the playoffs. He's saying he thinks we could have gotten could have gotten a higher or lower pick.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Jordan.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have because
but you don't know that.
You overestimate the worth of Hockey 500. You overestimate the worth of Hockey 500.
Right.
Jordan, wait, Jacob, 1 sec. Hold the roof. You are completely wrong. You don't know because they did not play 82 games.
Yeah, and the regular season, for all intents and purposes, is finished. They count it as the regular season.
So how is the draft lottery fair? I seek to not see that.
Okay, so if
the draft lottery, in my opinion, is not fair, but only because it gives some teams who would have normally made the playoffs the chance to win the lottery. Maybe a little bit, but not really a lot of people care about that.
Hockey should not – I'm putting it out this way. You all could be so excited that hockey's coming back. Oh, my God, a 2014 playoff. How exciting. Hockey should not come back. It's a disaster. It's not fair. It's not going to work. There's not going to be fans.
Wait. You did a complete 180 pivot from where we were at the beginning of quarantine, Ryan. You were the biggest advocate for hockey coming back, and I was
Jordan, I was on your side.
You were not on my side.
Yeah. Yes, you were. Last episode. By the way, please give that some watches. We're not doing very well with that episode. Please watch that episode. I was on your side during the intermission when we were talking about what teams. When we were thinking about who was going to win which series. I said in the middle, hockey intermission. What are the odds the season comes back? Both me and you, Jordan, said this is probably not and should not happen. But Jacob said it is. You remember that?
I do remember that, actually.
See?
Yeah, okay, we need to get all the way back on track. We need to get back on track. I mean, back to what Jacob was saying, it's not fair. Like, the 7 teams that are not going to be in the play-in round, back to what I was saying before, they were definitely out of the picture. Like, they were way out of the picture. So, yeah, they deserve to be locked in. They deserve to be locked into those top picks. I think that the other team, the 8 play-in teams, I think that the 8 play-in teams should be locked in to the lower picks of the lottery, and they should have a separate lottery to determine who gets the higher pick of those lower picks. And
that makes sense. Or think about this.
You get what I'm saying, right?
I do, but think about this. There were only 9 teams that were 10 or more points out of a playoff spot. Say you just do a 22-team playoffs, and then you have a 9-team lottery. That makes so much more sense.
See, the NHL is out of their minds right now.
Brian, I think you're blowing this out of proportion. What they're doing is it may not satisfy everyone, including you and me, but they're doing their best, Ryan.
And also, Ryan, I think
if they're doing their best, then why do the Pittsburgh Penguins have a chance of getting Alexis Lafreniere? Tell me that right now, Jordan.
They have a chance, but they have a minuscule chance.
But they never should have even had a minuscule chance.
Which is what I was explaining before, which is my system is that the play-in teams should have a separate lottery from the out of the picture teams.
Yeah.
But
Ryan, also in the fact that you think hockey should not come back, I think you're in the minority in that, just because at the beginning of Bettman's statement, the first thing he said was, first of all, the only reason a large reason why we're doing this is because a large majority of the fans have said that they want hockey back.
Okay, so let me get my point across here. So a major point of Gary Bettman's statement is that they're not going to start unless the situation is better and it's going to be safe. They're waiting for the situation to not be as bad as it is currently.
Yeah,
And in the beginning, I admit that I thought hockey should not come back. That's from the perspective of someone in the middle of the crisis. Now we see the end, and I think hockey should finish its season. Do I
don't
think
think
it'll
we're
actually
quite in the
happen? I
end.
don't know.
Can I
I don't think we're quite at the end, Jordan, but we're definitely past the climax. We're in the right direction. We're going in the right direction.
All right,
Yeah,
I
we're
have
at that
to
point
mention something right now that I don't want to mention, but you guys have to take into consideration. There are riots going on where people are on top of each other.
This won't be going on in July, Ryan.
Yes.
You're thinking of someone in the moment. You gotta think outside.
Yeah, Ryan, you have to realize you have to realize training camps are not even going to start until mid-July at the earliest. July 10th at the earliest is when training camps start. The season is not going to resume until early August at the earliest. You have to realize, we're in the mindset of we're not even in June yet. That's 2 months from now.
Are you planning on starting the next season on time?
No, the next season is not going to start till December, possibly even January.
Seriously? This is not going to work. This is a disgrace. This is not going to work.
I think it is going to work. They
might have to do a slightly
shortened season.
It's not going to work. It's just not physically
Why? Because it throws off the schedule forever? So when there was the lockout in 2013, did it throw off the schedule forever?
This is much worse than every professional sports lockdown you can think of times 10.
Are you kidding me? Baseball is a lot worse than this.
What I'm saying is what you're trying to say is that it's going to throw off the schedule, right? That's why you don't think
No, what I'm trying to say is they should just scrap this and move on, make sure all their players are healthy so they're not risking anything, and start the next season on time. Hope that they can get some fans in the stands and get back to normality, then do this crazy, unfair, crazy, wicked thing just so they can make TV money.
I don't think it seems unfair. I think the only unfair part of this is that the playing teams may get some higher picks than they would have, but, that's not too big a deal.
And not really necessarily, because a lot of the play-in teams might not have made the playoffs and might have had actually normally had a chance to win the lottery. The only teams I'm thinking of.
But that's not what's fair. If the Rangers, for example, we hate the Rangers. The Rangers are in this thing right now.
Yes, they are, because they were playing well.
They should not have made the playoffs. We know that.
I'm going to say something.
The point of a 2014 playoff is that there were chances of teams to make the playoffs. Now the Canadians probably weren't going to make the playoffs. Let's get that right. But they could have. Any team that could have made the playoffs is in this tournament. It's probably in this tournament.
Problem. You just
Ryan,
walked into the problem.
Ryan.
What?
So the only teams that first of all, the Rangers were on a really good run at the end of the year, and they easily could have made the playoffs. And I know this might be an unpopular opinion among Devils fans, but I wouldn't mind if the Rangers made the playoffs, just because then they don't have a chance to win the lottery.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I wouldn't mind if the Rangers made the playoffs because they deserve to make the playoffs. Think of it from a not from a Devils perspective, from a Rangers perspective. They deserve to make the playoffs. They
don't, Jordan. They just don't. I have a friend who's a Rangers fan who said he stopped watching because he didn't believe they were going to make the playoffs. They were
bad at the beginning of the year, but then they were doing really well.
They're super excited, but he knows it's unfair. He knows they should not make the playoffs, but he's taking advantage of this.
But they could have.
Also,
every team that's in the playoffs.
We never got to finish our season.
Every team that could have made the playoffs is in the play-in round. Even the Canadians could have theoretically made they weren't going to, but let's get
the Devils could have theoretically made it, Jordan.
No, they couldn't have. There's a difference.
They were only 3 points behind the Canadians with 2 games in hand.
I mean, but they weren't gonna make the playoffs. Let's get that real. But the Devils and the Canadians weren't gonna make the playoffs. At some point, there needs to be a cutoff line.
Okay, so then how come the NHLPA, when they voted on this system, voted 29-2?
Here's what
I don't think safety is going to be a problem.
Safety is going to be a massive problem, Jordan.
No. You're thinking of someone in the middle of a pandemic. They're going to wait for this to all blow up. They're going to wait until policymakers say it's safe enough to resume all sports and all gatherings. They're going to wait until they can.
Who are those people? Who are the people who just? You're talking about the CDC, right?
Well, yeah, the CDC. Like all the governors, especially Governor Cuomo, because we live in like New Jersey.
He already said teams can practice in small groups.
Exactly. When the government,
they can't make contact when they practice, can they?
Yeah, they can.
No, they're going to wait until they can. They're going to wait until they're in a position where they don't need to take safety as seriously as they do now. They're going to wait until mid-July, when hopefully this will all be less bad as it is now. And also, you're thinking like someone in the middle of a pandemic. When they resume play, the pandemic is going to be mostly behind us. They won't need to take such precautions when they resume play. That's the point of waiting so long.
They will need to take precautions. They will need to take precautions. Just not.
Yeah,
I'm clearing it up for Jordan. They still need to take precautions, just not nearly as much as they would right
now. Exactly. Having 10 or 20, having 40 or so players on the ice, right? That 40 or so players in a building isn't as bad as 20,000 fans in a building.
Well, not 20,000 fans, but 20,000 people, all and 18,000 fans all packed next to each other for the playoffs. That's
not going to happen.
I know, but I'm saying what I'm saying is that there's a huge difference between players who don't go anywhere else. They go to the rink, they practice, they play the games, and they go back to their hotels. Between thousands and thousands of fans packed all together who all go home to their own separate houses and live their own separate lives.
They're not going to enforce how can the NHL enforce quarantining on 18,000 fans? It's not going to happen. That's why they don't have fans in the stands. But they can enforce their rules on players because they're part of the NHL.
If one small thing goes wrong, this is all going to blow up, and you know that.
You're thinking, oh my, I can't say it again, or else people who watch will be mad that I'm saying this so much. But I have to say it again. Ryan, you're thinking like someone in the middle of a pandemic. You need to think about this like a person who doesn't know, who hasn't been involved in the situation. Like imagine you're a person who just walked up and is learning all this about the pandemic. Like they didn't know about the pandemic before. They're learning about all this. Then they see the plan. You got to think like that kind of person.
Ryan,
Jordan, if you want to be talking about not being in the middle of a pandemic, you got to think about 2021 because there's no vaccine coming out.
Ryan, can I? I'm going to give you an analogy. Imagine you are a colony of rats. I'm not sure if that's a thing. I'm just making it up.
Imagine they have rat colonies, yeah.
Imagine you are a small rat colony, and you have one ginormous, tons of pieces of ginormous steak, or a couple pieces of ginormous steak, and then you and your colony are all of a sudden get trapped with the steak. You're going to share that steak with the other members of a part of your colony gets trapped in one area. You're going to share that steak with the members of the colony that you are with, but you can't share it with anyone who's not stuck in this area. That's what's going to be like for the NHL.
What?
Who's to say
a bad analogy? Bad analogy. We'll move past that.
Yeah.
Move past that.
One thing I got to say though, who's to say though that somebody's going to eat food, because you got to think about the food supplier too.
Are we still going with this analogy?
Listen. But listen, just listen. The NHL has to feed their players on certain diets to make them play well.
I don't think food will be the problem.
I'm not talking about food.
Oh my God, this analogy.
About food. The food was the analogy for the virus.
What's going on here? I don't even. Okay, bad analogy, Jacob. Let's move past.
The food was representing the virus.
Then you're
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just gonna move past that, Ryan. Yeah, that was it.
That was
Jacob.
Poor. That was poor taste, Jacob.
Anyway.
Poor taste. Okay.
That was funny.
Okay. All right. So moving on. I think you mentioned briefly before that if we're thinking of someone like outside of the pandemic, we're thinking of 2021. That could be possible, and that's why I'm saying that maybe this won't happen. That's why I said last episode that I don't know if this is going to happen. But the point of waiting is that although there may not be a vaccine, there may be the social distancing may have worked enough so that they can resume play without a vaccine and have it be safe enough with their precautions that they won't need to worry about a vaccine. And I think with your concern about a second wave, that's why the NHL is waiting. If there is a second wave, then they won't do this. They're biding their time, waiting to see if the coast is clear, waiting to see if there's not a second wave, and that the coronavirus has calmed down until they even think about starting training camps. Got it?
That won't happen until 2021, but okay. Anyway, It looks like it's time to wrap this thing up. Jacob?
All right, so remember to hit that subscribe button if you're new, hit that like button if you like this video, leave a comment in the comment section down below. What do you think about this whole situation, the draft lottery situation?
Our opinions are not correct. They're just our opinions.
Yes. So yeah, follow us at Twitter at LHS Puck Drop, and on Instagram at
puck_drop.lhs.source, puck_drop.lhs.source.
So yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. We're going to have a quiz video up tomorrow. So yeah, look out for that, and we'll see you tomorrow.